The Merry Cemetery of Săpânța, a story of life and death in colors. The Merry Cemetery of Săpânța, located in the Maramureș County in northwestern Romania, is one of the most unusual and fascinating places in the world. It is known for its colorful crosses, full of images and inscriptions that reflect the local view of death and life. Far from being a sad and somber place, the cemetery conveys a message of celebrating life and those who have left us, serving as a true symbol of spirituality and folk traditions from the Maramureș region. History of the Merry Cemetery. The Merry Cemetery was created in the 1930s as a project of the craftsman and artist Stan Ioan Pătraș, who was from Săpânța. He was inspired by the traditions and customs of the region, as well as his desire to bring a different approach compared to the traditional cemeteries of the time, which were generally places filled with sadness and coldness. Pătraș was a highly skilled woodworker and wanted to create a place that would celebrate the lives of the deceased, rather than focusing on death and sorrow. Thus, the crosses in the cemetery are painted in bright colors, and each cross is accompanied by an image and an inscription that tells a short story about the person who passed away. These images and inscriptions are often filled with humor, reflecting the personality of the deceased. Features of the Merry Cemetery. One of the most remarkable features of the Merry Cemetery is its unique style of crosses. Each cross is made of wood and hand-painted with vivid images, especially in shades of blue, red, and yellow. These images often reflect the activities, occupations, or passions of the deceased. For example, some people are depicted while practicing their profession, others in moments of their daily life, and some in more playful poses that reflect their cheerful and optimistic character. The inscriptions that accompany each cross are written in Romanian, either in verse or prose, and are often filled with humor or lessons about life and death. They are written in a simple, direct style, but also profound and sincere, offering visitors a glimpse into the life and personality of the deceased. Many inscriptions also include comforting messages for the families of the departed, encouraging them not to mourn, but to celebrate the life and achievements of the departed. Among the most famous crosses in the Merry Cemetery are those of people who had an important influence on the local community, such as teachers, craftsmen, or farmers. The cemetery also hosts many crosses dedicated to those who died from diseases, accidents, or other tragedies. Each cross tells a different story, and this makes a visit to the cemetery an emotional and profound experience, as well as an opportunity to better understand the local culture and traditions. The meaning of the Merry Cemetery. The Merry Cemetery is not only a place where people are buried, but also a place full of symbolism. In the popular tradition of Maramureș, death is not seen as an end, but as a transition to another world, a world where loved ones continue to live in another form. The Merry Cemetery reflects this vision, focusing on the joy and celebration of life, not the pain of loss. Moreover, this cemetery is proof of a unique tradition of respect and love for those who have left us, as well as recognition of the diversity of lives lived. Often, the crosses not only reflect the professions or passions of the deceased, but also their personal character, which makes each grave unique and personal. Thus, the Merry Cemetery becomes not just a burial site, but also a true folk art gallery, preserving and celebrating the memory of the community, a tourist attraction and global impact. The Merry Cemetery of Săpânța is a highly valued tourist attraction, visited annually by thousands of tourists from all over the world. Over the years, it has become a symbol of Romanian folk traditions, as well as a remarkable example of how art can influence our perception of death and life. In 2006, the Merry Cemetery was included in UNESCO's Cultural Heritage, thus recognizing its importance not only on a national level, but also internationally. Tourism in the Săpânța area has grown considerably due to this unique place, and visitors can learn much about the culture and traditions of Maramureș, a region that has preserved much of its traditional customs and way of life. Moreover, the Merry Cemetery offers tourists an opportunity to understand the local view of death and how it is part of the natural cycle of life. Protecting the tradition. To protect this unique tradition, local authorities in the community of Săpânța have made constant efforts to preserve the Merry Cemetery and the traditional craft of making the crosses. Additionally, local craftsmen continue to create new crosses, respecting the same principles and techniques used by Stan Ioan Pătraș, and this tradition is passed down from generation to generation. In conclusion, The Merry Cemetery of Săpânța is an extraordinary place that combines art, religion, and folk traditions in a unique way. It is a place where death is not seen as an end, but as a continuation of life, and visitors are invited to reflect on its meaning in a way that is colorful, humorous, and profound. This cemetery is not just a tourist attraction, but also a symbol of a way of life that emphasizes the joy of living and the celebration of life, even in the face of death. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to discover even more beautiful places.